These are my new foster kittens. They were found during a rainstorm, and when they arrived, they were so frozen that they could barely move. Even though they had a mama with them, they needed to be scooped up immediately in order to save them and get them stable. It isn't safe to feed a frozen kitten, so all I could do in the beginning was let them warm up in the incubator. After an hour, they were warming up and started to squirm around a little, so I stimulated them to go to the bathroom, weighed them, and offered them little drops of food, but they were too weak to eat. I gave them some oral dextrose, some subcutaneous fluids, and let them continue to warm up in the incubator. Meanwhile, our friend caught the mama cat, but Mama was feral, and when she was released into the foster room, she wasn't having it. She panicked trying to escape, and the rest of the night she was sitting in the windowsill, hissing at anyone who came near. I hoped that she would accept her babies now that they were warming up, so I placed them in a crate in the room with a heat pad underneath them, and I left them there with a camera so that I could watch and see if Mama joined them, but she never did. She stayed in the window, terrified. That night, I visited them every few hours to bottle feed, and at first they really didn't understand, but eventually they started to get hungry and get the hang of it. The next day, the mama still was not joining them, but at least the babies were becoming really good at drinking from a bottle. After the night they'd had, almost dying from hypothermia in a frozen puddle, I was just so happy to see them looking good and finally getting some nutrition. But the best thing for newborn kittens is for them to be with their mama. So now I had to figure out how I was going to get them reunited once and for all. Mama was not going to go in with them on her own, so I placed her babies in a large covered dog kennel. Then I caught her in the mesh kennel and slid the two kennels together until finally she ran in to be with her babies. After just a few minutes with her babies, she went into caregiving mode. You see, feral cats love their babies just as much as socialized cats do. They just don't love people. And that's why with feral moms and babies, it's often a better idea to just keep them totally contained and covered so that they don't focus on being around humans. They just focus on being with their babies. As you can see from these videos, everything got much better for both the mom and the babies once she was contained and covered and not allowed to have too much space to roam. On the kitten cam, I could see that she was a very sweet mama cat who took fantastic care of her babies, even if when I was around, she was really hissy. But since they had just been reunited, I needed to make sure that they were nursing well and that she was lactating enough to feed them. So I checked in and I weighed them. I use a spatula to help me collect the babies by sliding them over towards me and scooping them up. Mama doesn't love it.
Oh my God. Wow, that was a good jump scare, Mama.
But during those first days, it's a really important part of the monitoring process.
There's Miss Veronica. Miss Veronica was 136 last night, and this morning she is, oh my gosh, 148. Holy cow. Your mama's treating you right.
Now that I know the kittens are getting enough nutrition, I can give Mama a little more distance to decrease her stress. And in a few weeks, her babies will be big enough to eat on their own, so she can finally be spayed and returned to the cat colony where she lives, where she's most comfortable. I love these little babies, and I am so grateful that they were able to reunite with their mama so that they can get a great head start. These babies were found in a puddle in a rainstorm, but after a rainstorm comes a rainbow. And what could be more rainbow than the names of Lisa Frank characters from the 90s? So that is what we named these guys after. They're all named after different Lisa Frank characters. We have Hunter, who is named after the leopard. We have Forrest, who is named after the tiger cub. We have Miss Veronica, who is named after a very fancy blue cat. And we have Priscilla. Priscilla is named after a very regal white cat. And how could I resist the urge to name the mama cat Angel Kitty?
Mama Angel Kitty is named after a white cat with rainbow wings. And yes, it's a little bit silly because, of course, she is not very angelic towards humans. But that doesn't mean that she's not a fantastic mom. She's obviously doing a beautiful job with them, and I couldn't be more happy. Fostering a feral cat with her kittens is a really rewarding experience. I honestly think it's one of the most fun and easy ways to get involved in fostering, but you need to know what you're doing. You can check out my video on how to foster a feral mom and her kittens for lots and lots of advice.